carries. Okay, I call to order the Board of Assessors meeting at 9:05 a.m. And I must say, this is a public meeting being video and audio recorded for cable broadcast and internet posting on the Dayton, Mass. Gov site and YouTube channels. All right.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so we're all here. Old business,
I don't have anything.
no old business.
So there's no invoices.
Nancy, you can hear us fine, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
Okay, so there's no invoices, so we're gonna go to motor vehicle abatements.
okay.
We've got 2023 and 2024 abatements.
Motion that we sign the motor vehicle abatements for 2023 in the amount of $188.16 and of 2024 in the amount of $7,864.29.
second,
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, next warrant for motor vehicle. These are all bills that need to be rebilled. They were people that may be moved. They got a bill from a different town. They live in Dayton now, so this is just,
Motion that we sign the warrant for motor vehicle excise in the amount of $242.87.
second, second,
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
aye,
We thought that's what you were saying, Nancy.
okay, the next one is a commitment for a motor vehicle for 2024.
Motion that we sign the motor vehicle warrant in the amount of $156,113.59.
second,
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Stop making fun of Nancy. She doesn't feel
Well, you sound like you're struggling, Nancy, too. Not for nothing. Those colds are awful.
keep it up, guys. I'll show up and sit between the two.
I was literally
Big hugs and
gonna say
kisses when
thank
you
you.
get back.
Thank you for staying home.
This is real estate exemption. This is already exemptions you signed
Things
off
we've
on.
already signed off on.
Inputting them into the system.
Motion that we sign the 2024 real estate exemptions in the amount of $5,857.62.
Second,
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And this is the CPA for
Same motion we. Ian, maybe.
it.
Motion that we sign the list of CPA exemptions in the amount of $96.84.
I try to scan all that. That's me.
Okay.
Ninety.
Motion made.
Otherwise known as 90.
It's misspelled, Nancy. That's why he mispronounced it.
$96.84.
hey, I'm clogged up enough. Don't play games.
She would have red penned that one on me.
Second,
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
91, 96.
$96.84.
Okay. I do not have any electric district abatements, water district abatements, so those two are none. So then we get down to I.
Wait a second,
Right
G-
into the good stuff. Well,
Wait a second, GH, we're on I now.
we like did all that in like 5 minutes.
Wow.
Those
was-
were easy.
I think that was warp speed. Okay, so we're at I. So I think we have some discussion here on this,
I
or at
have,
least some clarity.
I
I'd
have
like
a
some
lot-
clarity. That's really why it's on here.
I have a lot to say, but
Okay, so Nancy, you ready to discuss on this?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Bill. Talk to me.
So looking into this, which I didn't want to initially, I thought this was all sort of on autopilot. And, Mike was going to handle it and Stephanie was handling it. We didn't get involved at all. Then there was the whole business about the last meeting and whatever. So I did some research.
Okay,
And in doing some research, what I found is that, first of all, there is nothing in our bylaws that establishes a board of assessors. Okay, so the Dayton bylaws do not apply.
okay,
So the only thing that applies is Massachusetts general law. And Massachusetts general law establishes a board of assessors and states pretty clearly that the assistant assessors are to be appointed by the board of assessors. In then looking at what is the Dayton, what's it called?
hiring policy manual, right? So
The
that's what this,
policy, oh, you got the book, look at
I
that,
do.
bound and
With
everything.
hiring.
How come I don't have a bound? If you look on like page 2 or page 3, there is an overview
Yep.
of town government. There's a diagram.
oh, the diagram, right, that's this one. Yeah.
There you go. Now, if you look and see in that lovely diagram,
Yep,
you look at who the Board of Assessors reports to the voters,
right,
okay?
Yep.
And underneath the Board of Assessors, you will see lines directly pointing to the principal assessor, the assistant assessor, and the clerk. And you notice those lines don't go anywhere near the Board of Selectmen or the town administrator. Now, I've discussed this with both member of the Board of Selectmen as well as Mike Mullen, and they concur in the belief that the Board of Assessors is completely in control of the hiring, and firing is more, union is involved, et cetera, but making the decision is a responsibility of the Board of Assessors. So what I want to propose is that, we assert authority, that it is our responsibility and our right to decide who gets hired into positions into the Board of Assessors. And under that, if we were to do that, I believe that we have the authority to decide without any Board of Selectmen input whatsoever, whether or not to hire someone.
okay,
And like I said, I did discuss this with both the Board of Selectmen as well as Mike
Okay.
Mullen, and they concur.
okay, so hang on a second, Nancy, I'll give you it in a second. That would confuse me based on, if I understood this correctly, because you and I had kind of gone through this hiring policy.
Mhm.
And it specifically says the department head will make the recommendation along with as following all procedures correctly with the town administrator, and then make a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen. That's what this is saying, if I read that correctly.
So first of all, there's two issues with that. Number one, there's a policy.
Yeah.
And then there's a diagram. And the policy and the diagram do
Don't
not
match. Okay, so that's what I'm
don't
asking.
remotely
No, I
match
don't
each
see
other.
that. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm
But
confused.
that set of rules
Yep.
is for all those other people, all the people on the
Ah.
second level
Oh,
that are not
okay.
directly appointed, but not appointed.
Even though
are-
she's part of the collective the CB,
Yeah,
collective
she's-
bargaining
yeah.
agreement, even though this hire would fall under that,
We are.
It's not a selectman
we
decision,
are
it's
the
still an
appointing-
assessor
yeah,
decision.
We are the appointing authority. So we are like the Board of Selectmen when it comes to the employees of.
okay, so
the assessor's
our board
office.
makes the decision in for that office,
Correct.
based on her recommendation. We don't have. a
We
rec-
have to now there is going to be a policy. Mike is going to work on it.
Okay,
But there should be, open meeting law has very specific rules. about what you're supposed to do. I did request Stephanie to bring the resumes and information about the candidates, so we could do this today, I believe.
Right, okay,
But because this is an open meeting,
right,
and we can openly discuss the candidates,
okay.
and we as a board can make a decision. And certainly Stephanie should make a recommendation. And I would expect, most
She's been
likely,
through the process.
yeah, most likely we're going to accept her recommendation.
Right,
But ultimately, the board, so if you look in that manual,
yep,
a committee or even a single person that's doing the preliminary screening is supposed to bring multiple candidates to the appointing authority. And this is a big problem right now. This is the whole debacle that happened with the police chief.
okay,
The same thing that happened there. They brought a single candidate to the Board of Selectmen,
I see.
and you can't do that. And that's same thing here.
Okay then. Nancy, what's your thought?
Thank you, Bill.
Okay.
Talking for.
What Bill just described is basically what we followed. Now, there's another little hook in this whole deal. Under the law, it is the Board of Selectmen who has appointing authority. Now, as elected officials, and this is what I was trying to point out, elected officials are different from appointed officials because we're put in our jobs by the voters as opposed to appointees, obviously not being elected. Now, what we have done in the past is similar to what the fire chief does. We agree, we the assessors, and I'm going back to when Carol was here, we agree on Stephanie. And we say, yep, we're going to appoint her. And then we notify the Board of Selectmen. This is who we've selected. And what they do, and quite frankly, it depends on who's the board, whether they say ratify the appointment or make the appointment. Just like firefighters under the strong chief law, the chief makes the appointment, all right? And that's because of that specific law the town accepted. Then he notifies the Board of Selectmen, he's appointed so-and-so and so-and-so to whatever position, even his call guys, they ratify it. So I think the process that we have, and what we've done so far, because we the board hasn't taken a vote, we followed pretty much what we're supposed to. When Stephanie says, I recommend so-and-so, and this board acts on it, and then it needs to be followed up with something in writing saying to the Board of Selectmen, Board of Assessors voted unanimously to appoint whoever, and we're sending this to you for ratification. And the only reason I say that is because, let's face it, every election you end up with different people. Both, it could be us and them. And all you need is somebody else to come on and say, oh, they can't do it, we're the selectmen. So that's why there are two steps. We vote to approve, they vote to, and we want to make sure we use the word ratify, which means they concur with what we've done. To me, we've done that simply because of that law that allows them to make appointments. And this is what the fire chief does. So doesn't take anything away from us, but hopefully it also down the road eliminates questions like, you can't do that, only the Board of Selectmen can. So Bill, thank you for doing all that research.
I like the word ratify. That's a good, because it's basically saying, yeah, we need you to rubber stamp this.
Right.
That's about it.
Okay.
And knowing that the Board of Selectmen actually has no authority other than acknowledgement,
Basically rubber stamp.
yeah, acknowledge that what we have done. And I was thinking that
What we have done.
right, and in
They can't
terms,
override it, they can't undermine it, they can't do anything like that, right?
yeah, we'd have, if they did, I can't imagine it ever happening, but if
Right.
it did, then maybe we'd end up in court. I don't know, to get it settled. But from what I can see, based on nothing in Dayton bylaws
Okay.
and the Massachusetts general law clearly stating that the Board of Assessors is the appointing authority for
position.
assistant assessors. So, that's where the fight would come. What is the definition of an assistant assessor? I consider assistant assessor everyone in the assessor's office. They're all assistant assessors.
Okay. So then,
Hey,
If-
and guys, this follows, our status follows exactly what the Board of Trustees does for the library. Because Stephanie's equivalent would be the library director, right?
Mike and I talked about that yesterday, and we're clear in saying that, the same thing for the library. There are several elected boards that should have direct control over their employees. I believe it's the treasurer collector, us, library and sewer commission, I believe. are
Town
all
clerk.
elect-
Town
And
clerk.
town clerk, right. So all of these positions, as you would see on that chart, report to voters and therefore the employees. And as I say, it's hire fire decision, maybe disciplinary action or something like that. But of course, we have to follow the collective bargaining agreement
right,
and the rules thereof.
right.
But as far as the decisions go, that lies with us and not the Board of Selectmen.
So we have hiring and fire authority, not firing
That's-
authority.
We do have firing authority as well, but we have to follow the procedures as set out by the
The,
CBA.
by the
Yeah,
CBA.
and I will clarify, to add to what Eric just said, even the fire chief would not directly fire somebody because of their union contract.
Right,
Chief, police chief can take disciplinary action and suspend if they do something and the
Yep.
gotta
Yeah.
do something away. They can suspend, but then they've got to come to the town and say, I suspended so-and-so because of such and such, and I had to take immediate action, So, that's
and
one.
then the town makes sure that proper procedure is followed for anything further from disciplinary action.
Right.
Right,
So-
so am I understanding that correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
But if we can table the firing portion, we don't need to worry about that.
No, I was just curious about that,
Um,
so I could understand fully about the CBA too.
Right. So if we are all in agreement, can we move forward with discussing candidates?
Yeah,
for this position?
absolutely.
You
Nancy,
agree,
you okay
Nancy?
with that?
How many do we, I thought we don't do, how many candidates do we have?
Well, let's find out.
We,
You're up.
we interviewed 3. I have them here. This is like the notes I made.
Okay,
If you want, I don't know, do you want me to? I don't know, how do you want me to go?
well, yeah, so Nancy, you're not here, you can't read those, and I don't want to necessarily
No,
read it
wait
out
a
loud.
minute, guys. This is where the open meeting law kicks in. You
Okay,
gotta list the name of the 3. You can give a little background about where they went to school, or they got a degree in accounting, or they got experience in whatever. Don't give out personal information. Or you could say
Okay.
they're from town, wherever they're from. Think about the police chief. We knew he was from Fairhaven, so forth, so on. Obviously, no street addresses or anything like that, but general information you can give out. And then from that, Stephanie, you got to give us a recommendation based on the interview conducted. Karen was involved too, wasn't she?
Yep.
Okay.
Can I give a verbal recommendation? Because I didn't type anything up.
Yes.
yeah, you can give us a verbal and then type it up
Yeah.
after, I suppose.
Give us
So-
a summary, and then
Okay,
if we have questions, we'll ask him. And then if there's no more questions, you say, I recommend.
okay.
Yeah, so basic information.
All right, so I will start with Melanie Silva. She previously worked at 2 different lawyers' offices.
Okay. Where's she from?
She lives in Somerset. She grew up in Fairhaven.
Okay. How long was she with the attorneys?
We've got Celino and Sylvia, September 2015 to February 2020. And then she went right into Officer Lima and Michael C. Lima, February 2020 to January of
So she
2020.
worked like 5 years at both jobs.
Okay,
Looks
Did
like
they do-
22.
Um,
Oh, that's college.
No,
Did they
this is
do-
another job. Go ahead.
Did they do real estate? does she have experience with, let me say, real estate closings? Because that would be, you
Yeah,
know,
yes,
okay,
she was a post-closer, real estate post-closer.
okay,
So
All right.
confidential information, real estate documents, and she, she's been on the registry of deeds, everything that we do, that she's had her hands in, pretty much.
Right, I'm very familiar with post-closing.
Yeah.
So post-closing is a lot of work. They understand the industry and the real estate. So that's a good point that you make, that she's in the registry of deeds and understands that process as well. Probably has a lot of client interface. So she's talking directly to consumers,
Yeah.
right? On a fairly regular basis. Yep.
And we do talk to lawyers' offices
And you talk to lawyers
frequently.
and you would
So
know.
maybe we could have,
So that's also, she also deals with a lot of guidelines.
yes.
So in lending and closing, and obviously in law, there's a lot of guidelines to follow. So that's, okay, gotcha. Next.
Okay, Ron Barron. He, is an appraiser. (2021), it looks like this is all a list of different companies, and he's owner of an appraiser company.
Okay. How long has he been?
How long is he working at these jobs?
Well, he was a trainee for a year, and then from 2001 to present, he's an appraiser,
Okay.
and then certified real estate appraiser, 2009 to present, so 2009 to present, he's the owner of Absolute Appraisals, and this other appraisal that he does work
Yeah.
for,
Okay,
okay?
so clearly he has a lot of appraisal knowledge.
Yep. He's also a member of the Board of Assessors in Bridgewater. Okay,
All right.
Is that where he lives?
Stephanie,
Yes.
where did Melanie go to, do you have anything about school or classes or training or anything like that after high school?
PCC.
that's a job she had, it wasn't
Oh, it's a job.
school, yeah. No,
Okay, not a problem.
School in New Bedford. Okay.
it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So you're still on Ron right there? Is that Ron?
Yes, it's,
Okay, all right.
does have a college degree.
And where is he
Okay.
from? Is he from West Bridgewater?
Yep, he's in Bridgewater, yeah. Yeah, he lives in Bridgewater.
Okay. Who's your last one?
Lisa Linham, Linehan.
Linehan.
Is that what it is?
Linehan.
Yeah, sorry. Like my 90. Let's put my
Ninty.
Ninty, sorry.
We
She,
have to hire her because her name's Lisa. There's our criteria.
okay.
That was a joke.
So she is been in banking, assistant branch manager, loan service representative, senior loan processor. She also owns her own business with her husband. It's a cleaning, sanitizing. I don't want to say the wrong things. Allergy relief treatment and specialized cleaning and maintenance of upholsteries and different flooring.
But not a lot
You need
of,
that at your house, Nancy.
not a
Rid
lot
of the
of
germs.
experience in. fencing or-
No,
Don't make me laugh, my nose runs.
What, now you interviewed these people, correct?
yes.
What is her reasoning for wanting to be in the assessor's office? Okay.
Sure.
I was looking, I have my question.
No, I got you. No. We're not trying to put you on the spot there either.
Yeah.
What is your?
What's your thought? Nancy, do you have any other questions on these candidates?
No,
All right, so we're gonna go right to recommendation from Stephanie. Is that okay?
yep,
Okay. What's your thought?
So I felt that Melanie was a good fit with the lawyer background,
Mhm.
dealing with people. She's a very people person, outgoing. So I felt
Not that the others weren't, but she was
Correct.
just stuck out to you,
Correct.
right?
I
Yeah.
felt like there was overqualifications.
See, that was the word I was going to use. Ron seems overqualified.
Yeah,
And
I mean, he's knowledgeable, but I don't know if he would stay.
how long will he be
Yeah.
here? Yeah.
Right,
That's how I felt. I felt because he wanted some growth and
Okay.
right.
we kind of don't really.
And that's a union thing where it's what it is.
Yeah.
It's your timeframe there. Yeah, I got you. So he
I
might get,
think I would.
all right.
What's Melanie's last name?
Silva, S-I-L, and S-I-L-V-A, yeah.
Okay, so I concur with Stephanie's recommendation, and I motion that we extend an offer of employment to Melanie Silva.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All is in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carries unanimous.
So we will send what was the word we used?
An offer.
No. To the Board of Selectmen, we're going to send a
Ratification.
ratification notification to the Board of
Okay.
Selectmen.
So, I had prepared a letter when I thought we were gonna do this before. What I can do is, I'll send it to, I'll email it to Stephanie. She can print it, and Eric, I'll just have you sign it as chairman, okay?
Okay,
All right.
okay. Yep. Okay,
Okay, and also, to the other candidates, thank you. And I don't know if you may send a letter of thanks or something
Karen,
like
I think, will be taking care of that.
that, because we appreciate everyone that
Yes.
applies.
And I know, they must know you have to save these applications for a period of time for the ones that weren't appointed, obviously.
so you'll speak to her today?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
I will.
Do we
Okay,
have a start date?
Um,
Are we able to talk about that?
tomorrow.
no,
ASAP.
really, she's,
You're gonna start right away?
Yeah.
Super.
so,
Do we need the ratification for her to start, Nancy? Can she
No.
start right away?
No.
We don't need the ratification. All right, so
No, it's the appointment that's the.
No, I think if you
important
talk to Mike and Karen, that already.
hey, thanks for running that over here. You're out of breath. Good job. Okay. Closed it out.
Oh, and then we got our legal opinion.
We got our legal-
After we finished.
All right, so we're on
something
public input.
already said, that's big.
Yeah, so, okay.
No input. I don't have anything.
I have something to just mention,
Hey, what did we get a legal opinion on?
but that'll be under correspondence, the same, what we just talked about.
Pretty much what we talked about.
So now that we've done it, now we're
Now that
gonna
we've
find
done
out
it
what
and
the
voted on
lawyer-
it and it's in,
They weren't aware of our,
I don't think they were aware that we moved it up
Yeah.
to 9 o'clock. to do it. Thank you for that, by the way.
So, I think public input, best place for me to ask a question.
Sure.
or
Yeah.
issue. So as you know, I'm in the middle of a real estate transaction, and a concern was brought up to me by the lawyer, or talking about this, and says, oh, the town of Dayton is known for doing this. And I was like, what? And saying that we apply, or we change taxes retroactively. And I said, absolutely not. We're never supposed to do that.
no, we don't.
So I just wanted to make you aware that was something, that's a perception that's out there. And it came from the secretary, and she said there was another town, I think she said Bridgewater. And she said the lawyer himself had said, oh, so I guess Bridgewater's following Dayton now. So it's like we were singled out as operating differently. So I've asked her to please, if the situation arises again, or if she can provide me details
Right.
on that particular
See what
incident.
exactly.
Because I said that should never happen.
Retroactively, you
Well,
can't.
what she's saying is they go to the closing, right? And they close with a number. And then at some point in the future, Dayton changes the taxes and then people owe money. And I was like, that's not right at all.
Well,
When you do the closing, that's the closing, boom, done.
Unless it's new construction, there could be a
It could be new
supplemental bill. or something that
Exactly.
goes
No, no,
out.
she
So
wasn't
that's
talking about.
gotta be the situation because
And I think sometimes they don't realize we have districts, so.
I never saw that. I closed loans in Dayton before and I never saw that.
Okay, so I just wanted,
Financing, I
it
closed
was
loans
just
in
a
Dayton and never saw that.
FYI,
Okay.
that is something that came to my attention, and I may, if it comes up again, I asked her if she's, something else comes up.
Yeah, I definitely
in
want to
another case,
see
I would
information.
be very interested to know, because we need to correct that.
Oh, definitely. That's not,
That's it.
That sounds weird.
yeah, totally does.
I think there's a misunderstanding
Yeah,
there.
yeah, and that's what I
So
said.
let's clarify.
I
So
said
what
to
your
her-
point is, let's clarify.
Yeah, what I
Yeah.
said to her is, it says one of two things is gonna happen. Either I'm gonna fix things in the assessor's office, or I'm gonna teach you what you don't understand. Obviously, maybe there's something that she's not understanding
Right.
about the process.
I mean, unless they're thinking of preliminary bills
I don't know. Well,
are done a certain way, and then anything that wasn't picked up in the preliminary, because it's based on the
Correct.
previous year,
Right.
it gets tossed in
The
that.
prelim
So
title is a
that's-
prelim, yeah,
There's nothing we can do because we don't have the new tax rate, so maybe that's,
it could be it too. And the timing, when you close.
Yeah.
Compared to when that bill comes out, yeah, so,
Yeah.
okay.
crazy.
okay, that was it? No.
So correspondence, yeah, I guess, I don't know, do you want to hear this, Nancy? This was
Absolutely.
Technically a legal opinion. Say, good morning, Michael, Nancy, let's see. I am writing to confirm that this office is reviewing the question that has been presented regarding the hiring of senior clerk in the town in the assessor's office. We will issue a letter regarding this, however, preliminary basis, we are bringing to your attention the following. Under MGL, the only employees that the assessors have a statutory right to appoint are assistant assessor.
Hey,
Who said that?
you're going to get paid lawyer fees.
I know.
In Dayton, the job title of town assessor is appointed by the Board of Assessors and would be classified as an assistant assessor for purposes of MGL, which is why it is an appointee of the board. Clerical employees would not necessarily be deemed assistant assessors under MGL, and therefore the Board of Assessors would not inherently have a right to participate in the hiring process for clerical employees. The board's role in the hiring process is dependent on town policy in the absence of a legal requirement that the assessors have a role in the hiring process. Although the town assessor is an appointee of the Board of Assessors, that would inherently disqualify that appointee from being deemed a department head under town policy. Does that make sense? Want me to read it again?
Yes, please.
Right. Although the town assessor is an appointee of the Board of Assessors, that would not inherently disqualify that appointee from being deemed a department head under town policy.
Okay. That's
We
just
are aware of
confirming that
examples of appointees of boards in other committees and other communities who are considered department heads, even though the department head is an appointee of a board that appointed them and that they report to.
I'm going in circles.
We will research this specific issue further. All right.
So-
Hang on, let me just finish this, just to
Okay.
make sure that I get the whole thing here. This office is reviewing this and will issue a letter analyzing this issue further. However, we wanted to at least share the above preliminary points at the present time. We will likely need additional information before we issue a letter, which we will request if necessary. The above does not reflect a final conclusion, but only points of reference that we are aware of and want to share with you at the present time. Regards, Matt.
So so part of the question that was posed to them was, is Stephanie a department head? That's what a big part of that was about,
Okay,
was talking about, is Stephanie the department head, or is the Board of Assessors the department head? So what he's saying is that there's nothing precluding Stephanie from being the department head. I think it'd be dumb to be
right.
anything else,
She's
but.
not definitely, but she's also not.
Yeah,
No.
which is actually, the beginning portion of it kind of said the same thing. It was in the what defines an assistant assessor, which is
Right.
exactly what I said earlier.
Okay,
So I don't see anything in this letter that conflicts with what we earlier discussed.
Who's the
Do you
letter
understand it?
from? Who
What's
issued who issued the opinion?
Matt. Matt Costa. It says Matt Costa, Esquire.
Quite frankly, if I were paying that, I'd say, don't go any further. We're all set. I think the research that Bill did, which is what we made our decision on, sums it up. Bill talked about similar things that Matt did. Now, Mike might need more information from Matt Costa. Personally, I don't. I mean, again, Bill did research and he covered it.
I would agree.
Well, I guess the point is that what they said is exactly the same thing I said.
Yeah, so, and that's my point. From a Board of Assessors point, I don't need more information from Matt. As I said, if I were paying for this personally, I'd say, hey, Matt, don't go any further. We're all set. Now, Mike may need some additional information because obviously the town hiring policy has got to have something in it that would indicate the type of situation that we ran into, because it doesn't really single out how elected appointees have roles in the hiring process that's not spelled out, And as I said, the boards change every year, or they could. So that policy obviously needs to be amended.
Exactly. And this is the conversation I had with Mike yesterday. And he said that right now, they're knee deep in the budget process. And once the budget process is complete, that's the next thing he's going to tackle, is clarifying the hiring process. And I'm sure we will all have input.
Yeah, I think so. And I think what they're doing is a good thing to clarify this moving forward. I don't think we've ever in the town had it like clearly
Yeah, it needs
defined
to be
roles.
clearly
And I
defined.
think, some growing pains here as we do this, just to make sure it's done correctly and fairly. So
I think of all the things that's most important, I think what we just did is most important, is that we need to have based on open meeting law.
correct.
We need to review the final candidates as a board, whether it be the Board of Assessors or the Board of Selectmen.
Right.
It's not just a ratification of what the department head has
Right.
proposed.
Well, I'm glad that we put this on the agenda to talk about today so we can clarify it, because I needed clarification for sure.
Okay, so can we move on?
Yeah. What's the review of minutes?
Review and
Any
approve
minutes? No minutes. Okay, all right. So unanticipated items. Anything? No?
That being said, I motion that we move to executive session under General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A7, to comply with or act under the authority for any special law or federal grant in aid requirements, and we will not be returning to open session.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is after we vote to go into executive session,
You're gonna call Stephanie?
yeah, I'll do this by telephone because obviously we can't have this on the tape.
No, I can stop the recording. You can stay on Zoom.
Oh,
Oh, really?
okay.
Well, let's try it first.
Yeah.
If you disappear and we disappear, then call.
Oh, okay. All
This
right.
is fine.
All right. Okay.
Bill thinks he can handle it.
Do we have a second?
Yes.
He made the motion. All right, motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Bill.
Stop.